Hi, Twisty here again, bass player from Reckless Empire. Today, we're going to be extending our conversations on using MIDI over Bluetooth to control stuff in your live rig. This session is going to cover using MIDI over Bluetooth to control my HX Stomp with my iPad. Just a quick reminder, we post a bunch of music, gear-related videos, so don't forget to check out our channel and subscribe to get updates on the cool stuff. Let's get into it. Helix Stomp, Helix LT, Helix Floor, Helix Rack, all have the ability to be controlled by MIDI controller, such as the Boss GAFC, maybe the Roland FC300, the Tech 21 MIDI mouse, or a lot of guys on I've seen around are using the Morningstar MC6. A lot of guys have those on their board, especially with the Stomp. I have two goals with my live rig: smallest pedal board I can get, smallest amp rig I can get, the lightest, no cables at my feet at all, and expensive gear away from beer spillage, punters, and the guitarists kicking their pedals and bumping my power and all that sort of stuff. So I keep it all off the front of the stage where I'm standing. In other videos, I've covered how I use my iPad on stage to mix and manage our front of house and my personal in-ear monitoring using the Allen Heath equipment. I've also shown in a previous video how I use the iRig Blue board and band helper to control the set list on the gig. What if I can control my bass rig from my iPad? Traditional MIDI connectivity between the Stomp and the iPad, or the Stomp and a computer, will be with a cable. Something like this Eddie Roll or Roland cable, which is basically a USB on one end and a usual MIDI connectors on the other end. But this, to connect to an iPad, would also require me to connect in USB to iPad connector. So that means, you know, even more cabling, bits of stuff that could fail, etc. This will work, however, it doesn't work with my no cables at the feet principle. Hello, Yamaha BT Wireless. I actually got this to connect my keyboard into my iPad to use as a synth module. However, could I also use this for my Stomp to get through the wireless stuff? These adapters, small, wireless, don't take battery, so there's no power requirement. They do both MIDI in and out through. It uses Bluetooth to transfer the MIDI signals up to about 10 meters. I think that's about 30 feet. There's no wires, no batteries, no power, no cables. Let's have a look at connecting the Helix Stomp to MIDI. First, I'm going to set the unit up to receive MIDI. So under Global Settings, page across, Global Settings, I'm going to move over to the MIDI selection. MIDI bass channel is set to channel 1, so that's the channel it's going to receive MIDI across. MIDI through is turned off. If I want to connect something else in a daisy chain for MIDI, then I can turn that back to on at a later stage. That's as simple as it is to configure the MIDI. Now I need to connect it. So the BT01s have an arrow for in and an arrow for out. This is as simple as connecting the in to the in and the out to the out through. In, out through. And I've now got a blinking light on the unit, so it's powered. That was simple. Now I've enabled the Stomp, I need to configure something to control it. Now my main goal here was to be able to use my iPad, which was already on stage with me, rather than a secondary laptop, which would bring more cables, etc. Plus I get more flexibility in my view. Stalking about on Google, I came across an entry on vGuitar forums with a link to Ed Saxman's iPad control for HX Stomp. I've included links to these in the descriptions below. My bass rig's pretty simple. I usually play a single Helix patch live and use a couple of snapshots or Stomp pedals, depending on the program, to turn on and off a boost setting for some distortion. This might work for me. Once you've installed the Midi Designer Pro 2 app from iTunes and downloaded the HX Stomp config file to your iPad, when you run that file or open that file, it'll add it to Midi Designer Pro 2. So if I open Midi Designer Pro 2, the first thing I get is a menu. From that menu, I'm going to click Connect. Under Bluetooth LE, I'm going to click Connect. I'm going to select my Bluetooth BT01, which is connected to the Stomp. Click on Done. I can now close that down. Across the top, I have a number of pages. So there's HX Stomp, there is Set List, there is Presets, there is Favorites, and then I can change the bank. The bank changes the look of the right-hand side of the screen. I prefer this look here. HX Stomp gives you the control over your Helix. Set List I don't use, but I believe you can set that up so that as you click on each of those, it'll take you to the next song in the set list that you've set up in that bank. I'll change that to 56, etc. So if you're running a set and you've got 8 different patches that you want to use, you can quickly click through those as you go through that. Presets gives you a list of all 125 presets on the HX Stomp. Clicking each of those takes you to that preset or corresponding number for that preset. This is the bit that gets a bit tricky for my memory, because if I want 24A, I don't really notice it's 69, so I have to come through here and have a bit of a play around. Favorites. So I have 2 basses that I use live, an Attitude 2 and a BB series. You can see those over my shoulder there. And I have 2 favorite settings that I have for those. Both of those from Dr. Tone's Secret Helix Lab. His links are below. Please check out his websites. Great information on Helix for bass and sound in general. So I've got a chorusy version, a non-chorusy version for my Attitude, similar for the BB. And I've also got a tool set up that I was playing around with the other day that he's put out. Now to configure this, you need to have unlocked the designer function, and that costs an extra $8 as I mentioned earlier. So under More, I can go to Design. Now I can add any of these favorites that I like. So if I want to add another one of Dr. Tone's ones that I'm playing around with, I can double click on that. And I'm going to use the Dr. Tone Magic setting, so I can put that under the label. Now under MIDI, make sure that it says Bank Program Change. You want the default value to be off, and then I want to set the MIDI off on value to the value of the preset. Now I've got this one set up to, I believe it's preset 118. So I'm going to scroll through to that, say Apply, and then exit the design mode. So now, hopefully, on my HX Stomp, if I click on Magic, it should be taking me to 40B, which is the Dr. Tone Magic setting. Or back to Tool, or back to my BB with chorus, or to my Attitude without chorus, etc. Back over on the HX Stomp page, this is the control section. On the left-hand side, I can control whether I'm in Stomp mode, Scroll mode, Preset mode, or Snapshot mode. Scroll and Preset basically work the same, where you go forward or back one preset. So predominantly I use the Stomp or the Snap, depending on the preset that I'm using, on the patch that I'm working through. This particular one that I'm going to go through today, which is my Attitude 1, uses Stomp buttons. I could set up Snap, but this one's particularly set up with 2 stomps, foot switch 1 and foot switch 2. So if I click on foot switch 1, that should be turning that on, foot switch 2, and that should also be turning them off. If I had expression pedals connected, I could control the expression pedal. And here there is also, if you have a looper enabled, you can control the loop from here also. On the right hand side, we can give it a name. This is as simple as just editing the name. I can turn the tuner on and off, tap tempo. I can bypass the Helix. I can go up my number of presets. I can go back the number of presets. I can select through the dial the preset that I want to go to, and send. That will take me to that preset. If I'm in snap mode, these three buttons here select the snapshot. Now, of course, the challenge with the tuner is going to be that if this is at the front of the stage and all my other gears at the back of the stage and I'm wireless, which, hey, that's what I wanted, if I push the tuner on, I still have to go to the back of the stage to check out my Helix to actually get the tuning to happen. Now that's okay, but my predominant use, apart from clearly using it as a tuner, the main reason I use this is often I use it to mute my bass while I'm on stage or I'm changing instruments. So I can mute it from the front, go back, swap instruments, sort stuff out, look at the tuner, come back and turn the tuner off again from the front. So for me, I think that's valuable. Again, might not be so valuable as the tuner, but I can mute as a mute, works really good for me. I also noticed the other day when I was preparing for this video, there's now also a HX floor and HX LT template available. This template does work with my LT, I've tested that out. However, as you can see, this is only showing 5 foot switches and 2 expression pedals. Clearly the floor and the LT have much more I/O in and out. So the new template will allow you to have, I believe it's the full 10 foot switches controllable from the iPad. If you want to use this, and I believe it's the same price. So if you've got both, you'll need to pay 2 lots. However, for home use with my LT, I don't require that. This was really just to control my live rig, which is the stomp. So for me, this works perfectly. 2 foot switches, some snapshots if I want them, and the tuner to mute. To me, great. Wireless control over my stomp. Perfect. Well, thanks for taking the time to watch that video. Hopefully it's been helpful to show you how to use an iPad to control your Helix wirelessly, and it's been of benefit to you. Always happy to hear constructive feedback and to hear how you might be using this stuff differently to me. So please put comments below around how you're doing it, especially if you want to try out using the MD-BT01 with a Macmillan 12 strip or other MIDI controller to wirelessly control your Helix. That would be cool. As I mentioned before, we do a range of videos on gear and tones and some other MIDI related sessions around Helix, as well as videos for our originals and covers. So check out our channel and subscribe to get updates. Stay reckless.